he cool. When Big Mama get upset, then he gonna send all of them boys that's working out in the barn and in the field to go into town and find out why Big Mama not happy. That's where we at right now. All of the masters in the history of Earth is reincarnated at the close of the age to close out any remaining or residual conjures in order, because you can't close the age and open a new age with the same old clothes on. Right. So all that stuff had to be cleaned up. And Anu is the one who sanctions it at the end. Clean it up. She said, Big Mama said, clean it up, clean it up. And then he say, well, Enlil started this shit trying to overthrow Enki. So then who is the next heir in line? And they came to Tahuti, or what they call in the text, NEGPIFOR. NEGPIFOR, yeah. Yep. So his turn comes on as remember the story of Loki being the son of the Ice Princess? Yes. That's the story of NEGPIFOR never being allowed to test his grit to see if he can claim the seat. If there was no male galactic seat for Earth until Enlil tried to take power. Then they opened up seat 50 for Earth, for what we call, that's the God seat of heaven and earth on Earth. So when the galactic seat 50 opens up, now we have a person that has to come from the 40th seat, which is the Queen of Heaven and Earth seat, in order to claim it. And then he's got to have the bloodline of one of the boys, Enlil or Enki, on the father's side. And then he got to have the bloodline or the mitochondrial rulership right from the motherline, which would be the Queen of Heaven and Earth seat. Then once he gets to the opportunity to seize power, then he get put to the test to see if he can control his Shakti, his divine feminine and divine masculine simultaneously. And the only way this is possible is supreme balance. And the only way you can find supreme balance is you have to find a counterpart to balance off of. And the women always, the mother picked the heir's wife, his consort, his number one. The queen mother picks the queen. He don't got no say until he interact with her to determine if she what his mama recognized him to be with. At some point, he gonna realize that they've been holding whole conversations and meetings in his face, behind his back, using him as a go-between for information. So they've been talking to each other without never seeing each other, psychically using him as the connector through his heart chakra. So Anu only want this shit to be put back the way it's supposed to be. He don't care who win, who lose, as long as the shit done right, by the book, by the rules. So the only thing he's there for is to make sure that them boys that's having the family feud don't get involved in stopping the transition by using nefarious means. And they didn't like that. Well, Enlil didn't. So when Anu got caught down here, so everybody knows, if you go to Japan, those are his people. Anu, A-I-N-U. They are his people, and they would send delegations to Kemet and to where we call the great temple of Quetzalcoatl in Mexico. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. Yeah. So that's where they would go to be educated as priests of Anu, or the Most High. And his instructions is to do what's right by the laws of righteousness and restore the balance to nature. That's it. That's his only order. He ain't get no more orders than that. Most of the rules and regulations we go by are Enlil's. Enlil is more militant. Right. So when you see all of these streets and straight lines and regimented, that's Enlil's creation. And Enki is more with the concentric circles to the center and using the most vile soldiers out at the further reaches to keep anybody from getting in. And when you go back and read about Atlantis, you see that's the structure of the cities. Absolutely. Concentric circles to a center. We used to keep the matriarchs in the center right? And the matriarchs kept the children with them, and then all of the soldiers in ranks would spread out to the furthest reaches of the city. So by the time you get to the inner city, if you can make it that far, you're a bad motherfucker. But it's all about different thinking patterns. So if you see the straight lines, you know that's linear logic. When you see the concentric circles, you know that's right brain abstract.
So why is it that brothers have a problem with the women coming to power and breeding the patriarchal?
They don't understand matriarchy, but feminism is their understanding of matriarchy. Feminism is not matriarchy. Feminism is patriarchy with women in the place of men.
Absolutely.
Matriarchy is predicated upon the care and maintenance of children for the future, because we see the children as the future in the matriarchy. But in the patriarchy, it's a dog eat dog, best man for itself, every man go your way.
Selfishness, individuality.
Right. And that's what Enlil brought. That's why they confounded the languages in Babel in order to be able to conquer the vastness of the globe. They couldn't do it using one language because we would all speak the same language. It would take us no time to all get online with the same, hey, this is motherfucker don't belong here. But when you got different languages and you need translators to communicate across language barriers, then you can't quite see what you up against. But yeah, they scared of the matriarchy because under patriarchy, men is subjugated, women and children and other men. And they feel that under the matriarchy, a woman is going to subjugate them. Women don't think like men. And that's the problem with most men is they expect a woman to behave and think like men when they in power, when the difference in matriarchy and patriarchy is this. Patriarchy is conquest at all costs. Matriarchy is be, but just be your best self. That's the difference.
So do you think that there is a specific qualification of the women that form like a matriarchal council, or how would you expound on that?
Well, one, they don't hold elections. That's the first thing you got to understand. The whole election thing that we've been seeing is a dog and pony show. It's a selection process and a survey. Under the matriarchy is predicated up on the work you do to earn your position. Most loved, most respected, moves highest in the society. So if you constantly doing shit that keep your ass getting lumped upside the head by motherfuckers, it's going to be a while before you be able to get your position.
So who do we elect female-wise?
We don't elect them. The women show love and respect to each other. And the woman that has the most matriarchs respect is the highest ranked matriarch.
She becomes the female Anu.
On earth, yeah. And right now, most loved, most respected on the matriarchs with the blood ties to the land is Mother Khadijah from the Farrakhan wife.
Why is that?
Because she is the most loved and most respected of the matriarchs. She got more matriarchs under her direct call than any other woman on earth. That she could pick the phone up and call them and say, I need you to bring your clan. They're going to bring the whole fucking clan. Nobody on earth got more matriarchs ready to move at a moment's notice than she do.
Damn. So does it matter if we all do not subscribe to the same ideology and doctrine?
It don't matter. Under matriarchy, you can believe whatever you want to believe as long as you respect the respectable. You don't have to believe the nation doctrine in order to recognize who the women pick as the woman that they love the most. So imagine this. You got a house with 5 sisters in it, right? And them sisters is going to 4 of those sisters is going to have more love for one of the sisters than they do for the other 4 or the other 3. So she, in them 5, she becomes the default leader they all love and respect. Because you got to have the love and adoration of the other people in order to move in positions in the matriarchy. That's how you keep a despot out of position.
So how should we teach the people to view Enlil?
I wouldn't teach him to view him no kind of way. Because I knew want everybody to recognize, the same as Icky, he want them to recognize their inner God. He don't want them to worship or kiss his ass. That's Enlil shit. And Anu wants you to know that there is a part of God in you that through self-discipline and training, you can be your own God and manifest your own life. That's what they call living your best life. The life you work for to create is your best life. The life that somebody gave you and you miserable living it is not your best life. Sometimes you are more happy living in the dirt by yourself, feeding goddamn wild animals than you do being a rock star on stage in front of thousands of people.
That's absolutely correct, because that don't necessarily bring you happiness. It brings you attention, not necessarily happiness.
So when you know what you want out of life, like I don't want shit. All I want is my children not to have to go through the shit we went through. That's the only want that I have. And that want ties back to a righteous endeavor to stop our children from warring against each other because somebody on the outside told them they was enemies.
How would you say that we should appeal to the youth now that gangbanging has become the new age religion for them?
First of all, it's a difference in the gang culture from what's really going on and what the media report. The media is only going to villainize the ones that they can villainize. Most gang members, the perfected man, this is the check and that I got to write the receipt about. This is what it all boiled down right here. I showed y'all the key. The key to the kingdom. The red, the white, and the blue represent the three crowns of Egypt. Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt, and United Egypt. All three of them. You know, the red Nile, the white Nile, and the blood. Come on now. We're talking about the made man, where they dredged the Nile, the Tigris, and the Euphrates, the white and blue Nile, you know, and made the made man that we had to give the drop of blood to clean this bullshit up. Right? So here we go, playing Martin Luther King. Right? Now y'all got to remember, Martin Luther was a Protestant. He protested the Catholic Church. Y'all got to remember that. While y'all listening to this, it's for a reason that he changed his name from Michael to Martin. Him and his father. That made me pay attention. That's a Gemini effect. Always pay attention to a duality of that nature, because that's called a Gemini effect. That means that there's something going on where they need two icons. Right? So this is the Gemini effect. So now when I put it all together, Martin write the check. He give the conditions of the check. He lay down what was stolen. He vexed the grievance. He lay it all out right here, just like this. Listen. When we go to Washington, we're going to get the check, right? Now, I didn't make that up. I wasn't even born when Martin said that. So the shyster that tried to shice me, right, allowed me to see the balanced book. Now, this is how the universe was able to tell me. So now, I'm going to push this to the side, because I got to go back to this later on to play the A-tone. And I'm going to put my mama over here while I pull my scribe scroll out right here. Right? Now, this is about to get a little intense over here. Let's see how we're going to do this. Grab my ink pen. Now, the first thing I gotta do, I gotta get this old phone, because I'm gonna have to go in there and show y'all the shyster send me to the store, right? Now, I did know he was trying to shice me out the gate, but I also know that on the left-hand path, that the deception hid a key based off of the numerology. So before we get into that, we're going to get into this. I'm going to pull the shyster up.
And this is how I knew. Now, this is how I knew to write about the 50-50 transfer. Now, I was already aware of balancing the books. Now, this is a con artist right here trying to get a gigantic sum of money from me in order to send me an even bigger sum. Right? So first, I'm going to go up here. All right, I was hoping it could show you. All right, now look at the time. Sunday at 12:30 p.m. 1, 2, 3. Now remember, I had 1, 2, 3. I had it in reverse 3, 2, 1. When Farrakhan gave his 3 knocks, I had to count backwards. 3 knocks, 3, 2, 1. Right? His was 3, 2, 1, man. Well, I had to count back 3, 2, 1. Farrakhan knocked 3. Outlaw knocked 2. Hebrews knocked 1. This was the response to this. That's what I was responding to when I said 3, 2, 1 to Farrakhan. This was the countdown. Now watch what happened. What am I counting down to? The dude want me to get an Amazon card. So I go get the Amazon card and I see the A on there. Now we all know that the Amazon is the South American river. The Amazon is the South American river. Now we talking about the Amazonian basin. We putting the tribes back together, y'all. They got me putting the families and the tribes back together. I'm rebuilding this shit. Right in y'all faces what this is telling me to do. Now, y'all know my council seat is 50. Right? Then you got your A-tone, but here you have the alpha. Right? I am the beginning and the end. I am the alpha and the omega. I'm going to show you how that matter in a minute. But right now, the alpha, the 1, because alpha is 1, the first letter of the alphabet, A, 1, who stands on the crescent. Look, it's right here. So now that's telling me that this was significant. Now, as I go down to the next thing, he wanted a picture of the receipt. And this is where he get my attention. When he asked for a picture of the receipt, he want to make sure that the receipt is clear. Come on now. Tired of camera. Now, he wanted me to make sure the picture of the receipt is clear so he go ahead and steal his money, which I'm cool with that. Now, look. This was the example that he gave me. Look. This was the example that he gave me of how he wanted me to send the receipt. Now, look at the top. What you see that lion? You see that lion? You see this food lion? Right? Now, any more anomalies in there that I should be reading? 608, that's 14. That's my number. North Highway, 52, that's 7. That's my number. What else? 1378. Right? 78 was the year of the child. We all know 13 is the central seat of the mother. 8, 9, 12. You add it all up, that's 19. Right? So now over here, you got the 8 and the 4 and the 3 in the area code, but the 4 and the 3 is the 7. That's the man and the woman under the feet of the lion. It's right there in front of y'all face. Now this is shyster trying to shice me out of some money. I got the whole thread to prove it. Did anybody think I'm making this shit up? Right? But I'm going with the clues that I'm giving in order to put this shit together. Now look, the rest of it. 7, 6, 1, that's 2 7s, right? And then you got 3, 4, that's another 7. Then you got 0, 2. This 7 becomes the 9. That's 9 is the birth. Right? 9 is the birth. So if you take these last 4 and make them into the 9 of the birth, and then you still got the 8, the woman, and then you got the 3 7s of the perfected man, perfected and approved on all 3 levels, among the gods, among the men, and among the demons. Right there. Right? Now, I can go on. I can just go down the whole page decoding this, but that'll just take unnecessary time. I just want people to know that I'm the baddest motherfucker ever born for real. Now, when I go to give him the receipt, this is when it all clicks. This is when it all comes together. Because now I sent him this. It wasn't clear enough. Right? He sent it back. Or he used to tell me to go back again. So after a couple tries, I get this. This was clearer, right? So now I'm going to pull the actual receipt over here, if I can find it. Nope, I'm just going to stay right here because it's already in my face. Now, I went to the store to get the gift card. This is the